Hello, this is John Grills from Creepy. Want to see something scary? Shudder is the ultimate streaming service for fans of horror, thrillers, and the supernatural. Brought to you by AMC Networks. Shudder is a premium streaming service that promises its members a multi-sensory dive into fantastical worlds. All uncut and commercial-free. Discover films and series that cover the entire horror spectrum, including highly anticipated new releases like The Boy Behind the Door, and one of my new favorite movies, Psycho Gorman. Available ad-free, on demand, and through the platforms you're already on. Shudder. So good, it's scary. Sign up at shudder.com. That's SHUDDER.
Hello and welcome to Made by Mamas, the podcast. I'm Zoe.
And I'm Georgia.
And we're here talking all things parenthood. You know, the real conversations.
Tips and tricks.
Products we love.
And brands we can't live without.
Let's get into it.
Hello.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Have you got your pyjamas on?
No. I actually haven't. Have you? We're recording it quite late, aren't we?
I have got my pyjamas on.
Are you going to be joining tonight's chat in your PJs?
I am. I've got a hoodie on over the top. So anyone listening to this, you'll know if you've seen our Instagram stories and our Instagram post that actually I look like I'm wearing a white hoodie, but really on the bottom I've got some sheepskin slippers and some stripy pyjamas and it feels so nice.
I don't blame you. You and I have both had the longest day. We're recording this at 8 p.m. on a Monday evening, which shows our dedication to the cause. And you know, you've been at it since what, 6 a.m. today, 6:30.
Oh
so
yeah,
mate.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be done. I feel like one day with a 2-year-old when you're trying to do other stuff is just. I'm way more exhausted than any other day. Like seriously, nothing compares really.
No, especially Gigi, who's like 1,000 miles an hour.
Jesus Christ! She threw herself on the floor at the bottom of the hill because I forgot her sunglasses. Like literally threw herself on the floor. My sunglasses, my eyes hurting me. And you're like, oh, flipping hell, this is awful.
Gigi reminds me of Mariah Carey.
She is. She actually is Mariah
She's
Carey.
going to be demanding a dressing room that's only got white walls and white fluffy bunnies in it.
I mean, I think that will be tame. I reckon that's going to be there's going to be a tame request from her. Anyway, you've had a very big day. Tell us what you've been doing.
Well, I can't tell you too much, but basically I've done my first bit of telly today in 5 years. So today, you know, and anybody that's in this industry that, you know, kind of knows or gets it or understands it, how bloody hard it is, and you have to keep chipping away. And today was like a bit of a moment because I got to film something that I pitched. It was my idea. It's a short film for Morning Live, which is going to be on in the next couple of weeks, around a subject that I'm super passionate about as more of like an investigative journalist presenter, which I want to move into. So it was like a huge moment and I just had the best day doing it. I got to interview some incredible women and I can't wait for everyone to see it.
Yeah. Do you know what? I mean, since I've known you, you've been talking about doing something like this. So it does show, doesn't it, that when you're really passionate about something, it does come. And actually, that kind of leads us on to the chat with our guest today. Because it is somebody that we've had on before. And when we had her on, she came on with her husband and she spoke about her births and stuff like that. And now I think it might be 2 years since we last chatted to her. She's just started a business, which we're really excited to talk to her about. And she's going to have her business partner join her as well. And I think it's going to be a really good chat and something that we've probably been wanting to talk about for the last couple of years, but just not really been able to find someone who can do the subject justice.
Yeah, and also I think since the pandemic, I think everybody has become much more aware of being more sustainable, you know, making sure that we're recycling properly, that the clothes that we're wearing, we're hanging on to, we're reusing, charity shop, you know, our toys that we're kind of bringing in for the kids. You know, we talk about the Toy Box Club as well, with the fact that it's, you know, we get a box delivered and the toys come, they use them for a month, they go back to another family. It's that whole kind of thing about what we're doing for the planet. We have to try and leave it in some sort of state for our children. We have to look after it more.
Definitely. And we have so many questions as well on Instagram, sort of asking us to talk more about like making sustainable choices as a parent, because, you know, nappies, wipes, all that stuff, it's really difficult to navigate, especially when you become, you know, you're a new mum. It's just another thing to think about and have to research. And so hopefully we're going to be able to answer some of your questions today. And it will make it kind of not seem as daunting sort of change.
Yeah, and even though Georgia and I are passionate about this, we have got a very long way to go.
Absolutely.
A really long way to go. By no means are we getting it right. Even just down to things like reusable plastics for the kids and never using single-use plastics and getting rid of cling film and things that you don't even think about.
Yeah, really small changes.
Really small changes that make the big difference. Anyway, look, let's get into it. Who are we chatting to today, George?
Today we are chatting to Chloe Gill.
Massively excited about welcoming, one of the ladies back on the podcast who we've had already. I'm super excited about the other lady we've got on the podcast today. But together, they have launched their incredible sustainable business called Always Forever Green. We've had the wonderful Chloe Gill on the podcast before, so we welcome her back. But also with her business partner, they're absolutely smashing it now. Let me get this right. Lisa Hobley Walker, welcome to the podcast. How are you both?
Great, thank you. How are you?
We're good. It's nice to have you back, Chloe. You've had another baby.
Have I?
Have you had another baby?
No.
Oh.
Zoe tries to do this to me as well, Chloe. So I speak to her every time she picks up the phone to me. She goes, "Are you pregnant again?"
No,
Zoe.
That.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I thought the last time we spoke and no. Okay,
I think you've
fine.
been speaking to Jay because Jay wants another baby. I'm like, hang on.
He's basically told me to start the podcast like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You just feed it in, then maybe she'll have. Are you thinking about having another baby?
Jay is.
Yeah.
If you put it into the universe, it will happen. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
So listen, welcome back. And Lisa, lovely to have you on. Ladies, we need to talk about this incredible business that is where it is at the moment. And we wanted to have a chat with you today around sustainability because we feel since the pandemic, it is definitely a hot topic. Yeah. Lots of parents trying to do their bit in terms of living a more sustainable life. Yeah. So just talk to us about the business. Tell us about it.
So there's three of us. The other lady, lovely lady, is called Harriet Hurst. And I feel like the three of us together is a fantastic team. We bring all different parts of our expertise together. So one day we were literally, all the kids are having a swimming lesson and we were all just chatting and we're trying to organise a birthday party. And all the stuff was being delivered and it's wrapped in plastic. Yeah. You know, when you get all the plastic cups and the paper cups, but it's wrapped in plastic. And I just remember one of us going, what is all this stuff? Why is there so much plastic? And then that's kind of how the conversation started. And then we were all just discussing about different things and what could we do and how could we, you know, do something about it. And then 3 years later, you know, hours and years and time later, we've come up with this amazing platform that it's the home of everything kind of eco. So you can shop by value, and it's because when you're trying to search for where do you get sustainable cups or where do you get toothbrushes or the nappies, I was just finding myself looking everywhere and I couldn't really find it or find the right places. So we want to be the one-stop shop for all of those things. So it's a safe place and a kind of a community, bringing all those brands together. So that's kind of how it started. The three of us just literally sitting around the kitchen table talking about it. And that's where we are now.
So do you know what? I get really confused because, for instance, today I was in Aldi and I saw some eco nappies and I was like, oh, wow, like cool, eco nappies. Took a picture, posted it on Instagram. I was like, oh, I didn't know that Aldi did eco nappies. Brilliant. And then someone replied and was like, they're probably not eco at all. And I was like, oh, gosh.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. That's why I want to ask. I guess, Lisa, I don't know if you're best placed to ask, but how do you know? You know, if something literally on the packet says eco nappies, how do you, learn to trust what it says on the packet? And how do you even go about differentiating how sustainable and how eco-friendly these products actually are?
Well, I wouldn't feel bad because I think it's really difficult, right? It's like a minefield out there. And that's kind of one of the things that motivated us, right? We wanted to do the hard work for everybody so that it was done. Yeah. And actually you could come onto a place and go, actually, I trust that, you know, what does this mean? And is this the right choice for me? mean, I've worked in sustainability kind of with big corporates for 20 years. I show my age now. And, and there's loads of really good stuff going on, but a lot of the time it doesn't really translate into what we can understand in our like daily shopping, right? And that's a really good example about eco nappies, because it might be that as a disposable nappy, it's more environmentally friendly than other brands of disposable nappies, but it doesn't mean it's actually the best choice, because it might be actually that, reusable nappies would be overall better for the environment. It really depends. And that's kind of one of the things that we hope we've done on alwaysforevergreen.com, is that we've sort of said, well, there's different grades, right, of sustainability. And we have this system where we assign different levels of leaves to different brands. So you can sort of see where they are on their sustainability journey. So actually there can be some brands they're starting their sustainability journey. They don't have the full certification yet. They're on a journey. And that's really like easy for you to see as a shopper, because you go, oh, okay, right, that's one leaf versus another product that's got all 3 leaves. And we know that they've got the full certification. And we hope that by doing that, we kind of help brands to go, oh, actually, it's worth it for me to go the extra step, because I'm going to get some recognition and people are going to start to sort of understand, oh, okay, I've gone that a little bit further. Maybe that's cost me more as a product, but, I'm giving more back. So we sort of wanted to take all of that guesswork out of it. And Chloe mentioned shopping by values. And so again, we get that kind of question as well. So some people only want to see vegan products. So we've got this really cool search function on our website where you could click a button and you only see vegan products. But not everybody wants to only see vegan products. Some people actually want to see products that maybe, are really doing good stuff around climate change. And again, that's another value you can go, okay, that's what matters to me. So we didn't want to kind of tell everybody the answer, because we know it means a little something different to everyone. And actually for you, it might be the right choice to have a reusable nappy. There's some things we can't help it in some situations, right? But at least we want everyone to kind of, be a bit more informed and hopefully build a bit of a community, so that we kind of all go on a journey together of going, okay, actually, there's lots of choices, and at least we can find them all in one place.
Why aren't massive brands putting all their efforts and energies into making reusable nappies or disposable, like the most eco-friendly? Surely they've got the cash. Then surely all the other brands would have to go, well, okay, they're the big boys, aren't they? So I don't understand why everybody is not jumping on the bandwagon.
I mean, I think they're starting to.
Are they starting to?
And I think different sectors, like fashion's a really good example. There's a huge push around sustainability in fashion, and it's led by some of the big fashion houses are completely committed to net zero, meaning they're going to be balancing out their carbon emissions to circular fashion. You see Selfridges having, kind of recycling events, and all the way down to like H&M, right? And it's amazing. I think it will come personally, for all of the different sectors. And in the UK, we're hosting this big climate change conference as a government. It's going to be called COP26 in Glasgow in a couple of months. And I really hope that that's a kind of a sort of a wake-up call for all the different kind of companies and sectors to say, actually, nobody can really get away with not doing something. And I think the more we have these conversations, it's really, really important, because then the brands are going to go, okay, we're actually having a conversation about this and we're airing it, and we want to see some change. And then I think that's like how, again, we sort of feel like we can help that conversation along by just bringing more people and more voices together to say, oh, actually, we'd like to know what you are doing, please.
Yes.
Why do you send so much to landfill? And, and then, you get that kind of really neat kind of positive flywheel going of, okay, well, then the government listens and maybe there's better regulations and policies and things can change. That would be what I would hope is going to happen anyway.
Yeah. And so I guess, obviously most people who listen to this podcast are parents. What changes can we make right from the beginning that are easy? They're not going to, cost us lots of time or thousands of pounds. What small changes can we make from the beginning?
In the home.
Yeah, at home and in our lives.
Yeah, well, I'm a mum of 4 and stepmom of 3. So I mean, I think I always try to make choices that, it make kind of good sense for like the home budget as well. The simple things like you can switch to renewable energy tariffs, and often they cost the same now as other tariffs. So that means that every time you turn on a light, you know that it's coming from the solar panels or wind farms. That's super, super easy. And you can do that online. You can just switch over. Everything from, I was saying this to the girls the other day. A lot of people don't realize just deleting emails actually is a really good thing you can do to help the environment.
Deleting emails?
Why?
Deleting emails.
Oh gosh.
The store, every time you have an email in your inbox, every time you send an attachment, it's all stored somewhere, and all of that is creating energy, and that's got an environmental footprint. It's totally invisible. You'd never think about it, but actually deleting emails, sending links instead of attachments, really basic stuff, will cost you nothing, but actually that's really easy. We've got some really great products on the website that I wish I'd had around. My youngest is 6. I think they were probably just coming out then, but like reusable wipes, reusable roll, and these are really cool stuff, and reusable face wipes, as well. They're really, really simple, and actually a better product, really beautiful. We've got these great wipes that are like rainbow patterns for the kids. Babies will love to look at them, and you're not throwing them away. You don't have your toddlers, like I did, accidentally flushing them down the toilet and causing plumbing emergencies on a regular basis. So I think there's like lots of things like that. And that's the good thing about our website. We've got lots of different categories. And so you can kind of learn as you shop, or even if you're just looking around and going, oh, actually, I didn't know you could have makeup that actually is all from natural ingredients and all organic. Or maybe you didn't even think whether or not it was organic, or I didn't know that everything could be made in the UK. And I think a lot of the time with sustainability, there isn't like a perfect answer, because we just don't know.
We don't know enough. Yeah, exactly.
And it's like that's what I think is, actually starting to look around and question things. We had it when the kids went back to school. Are all the pencils actually from sustainable forests? It turns out actually no, they're not. I mean, we were like, wow, okay, that's like a simple thing, just making sure the kids go back with a pencil that's not, kind of cutting down the forests.
Chloe, at what point did you have a look at how sustainably you were living and think, oh, actually, I need to do more here? Was it when you had the kids?
Definitely. It's the kids. And I think as well, living on a farm and, growing things at home and, I don't know. I think moving to the farm, then having children, and then just thinking about the things that you're, the creams that you're putting on your babies, or like you say, the wipes that you're using, and their skin's so sensitive. Because some babies do react to things, or if they get eczema or whatever. And I just think it was that point that triggered me to start looking into it a lot more, like a lot deeper. And then I think obviously the whole plastic thing has been, everyone's talking about it, especially with everywhere shopping and everything. And I think you then notice it more once it's highlighted. And then, when you do go and get your deliveries, you're like, what even is all this plastic? Or why is my fruit wrapped in it? Or, why I'm so confused with why cucumber has got plastic on. I still don't understand why it's got plastic on.
No.
Once it's highlighted, you start, looking at it more, and I think then if you're just so much more aware of it. So it was definitely, the trigger was the children.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone else had this, but emptying the nappy bins. I used to have one upstairs and one downstairs, and at the end of the week I'd empty like this big long plastic roll of nappies into the bin, and I'd just be like, oh my God.
I know.
And this is just from me. I'm one person with one baby at the moment, and I'm I'm basically filling a black wheelie bin every week full of nappies and like plastic.
It's just like twisted balls of it, wasn't it? Yeah.
I get it with the supermarkets, George, with the plastic, with like for grapes, for example.
Yeah.
The amount that those grapes that you buy in those massive plastic containers, and then you can't. I know you can recycle that, but then you can't recycle the film on the top. Apart from some supermarkets, fine, you can take them back and all this stuff. It's like, why are they just not in paper bags?
I know.
Let's make it. We'd have to go. We have to go to a specialist shop for them. We have to go to like a local farm shop. Get them in the paper bags. It's like, I want to take the plastic off and go, I don't want the plastic. And it's.
Yeah.
So much
I
needs to be
saw
done.
someone in a supermarket about a year ago, and I wondered what she was doing, and it did make me laugh at the time. But as her shopping was going down the conveyor belt, she was taking all the plastic off and leaving it at the end of the till. And I was like, oh my God, what is she doing? That's so rude. And then as I walked away, I was like, oh no, it's not. She was making a point.
Yeah.
But it was unbelievable.
It's when you come home from shopping and then you start loading it into the fridge is when you realise, and then you have the whole pile of why do we have that much plastic? That it's that moment when you start putting it all into the fridge or your chill baskets. It's unbelievable.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Welcome back to this episode of Made by Mamas. Now, where were we? How can we educate our kids to be more sustainable, to be more aware of what's going on in the world?
Well, I was going to say, I think, for me, my kids are a little bit older. So my youngest is she's 6 now, right? And my oldest of my 4 kids is 14. And I found actually they're starting to ask me questions, like why is there all this plastic? Or, actually my 6-year-old decided she wanted a plant-based diet. I was like, how does she even know what that is? Because she kind of had, not actually even from me. She heard about it from school. I think the plastics issue has been, really well communicated and understood by kids in schools. Things like David Attenborough and the programs that he's made have been amazing. So I think there's a lot more talk about it in schools now. But my eldest has been on strike, right? And at first I was like, is this just because he wants to get out of school? But he's really serious about it. And, marched in London, as a protest march for the Fridays for the Future campaign. And it's like, well, actually, I think, we're going to be accountable to them. We're going to have to answer their questions more and more because, they're kind of coming up in school and they're saying, well, why do we have this? Why do we, and I think the COVID situation I found with my kids has been really interesting. And with lots of people I know that now, they're taking a reusable bottle into school, whereas before actually they were getting given a plastic bottle of a throwaway single-use plastic. Right. So little things like that has been actually quite good because the kids have gone, actually, it's really easy to keep my bottle. I can have a cool, nice bottle. Actually, it stays cold all day, whatever. And they're realizing they're refilling it is actually kind of cool and normal rather than and having tap water rather than buying a plastic bottle. And so that's been really good. And but I think talking about it again is the main thing, right, for kids. And answering their questions.
They did some research recently and they interviewed a bunch of amazing young people, and I'm sure you've seen this in the press, but the one thing that came out on the top that young people are most scared of is climate change. Terrified of it, absolutely terrified of it. And I just don't, I think people look at it and go, what can we do? What can me as one person do?
Yeah.
And I always try and say to myself, I'm George, you're probably the same. It's like, well, if I do it and you do it and you do it and you'll do it, then surely if we all do it together, just making those small changes, then we can make a difference. Like you only have to look at what's going on in the Arctic to realize anybody that says climate change isn't real, it's like, it's a frightening thing. It feels overwhelming.
I find it confusing. That's what I find. I find it really so for instance, I don't know, someone will say to you, you should give up meat. And so you go, right, yeah, okay, I'll give up meat. And then someone else will say to you, but an avocado has traveled further than if you bought some meat from the butcher down the road. And then you're like, right, okay, so don't eat avocados, only buy meat from the butcher down the road. I think this is what happens to people. They think, right, just give me 10 things to do and I'll just do them, all right? Yeah. And no one argue with it. Just tell me 10 steps and I'll just follow them. And this is what I love about you, your website, is that you've done that bit. So I know that if I go on there, I could be like, right, okay, cool. It's all laid out for me. But what are these small things? You've mentioned wipes. What other small things can we do?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on what you're trying to achieve, right? I mean, I think the thing is you don't have to do everything. Everyone, like you say, everyone doesn't have to do everything. If everyone just does a small few changes themselves, they'll make a huge difference. So we've tried to make it as well on our website that, okay, you can be confident that the product is really clear. Is it vegan? Is it organic? Is it giving back to local communities? Is it made in the UK? So you can kind of, I guess, put a little puzzle together for yourself, right? Maybe you want avocado, right? And then you'll give them something else. And so we've done that. And we've also got this, what we think is pretty cool anyway. It's like a loyalty card, but it's not a loyalty card for yourself. It's a loyalty card for nature, basically. We call it points for the planet. So every time you shop, you're building up a bank of points, and then you get to choose how you want to spend those points. So, either with one of our partners, we partner with Surfers Against Sewage, and that's doing like beach cleanup, ocean cleanup, plastic, and then Ecosphere Plus, which is all about, keeping tropical forests standing and giving back to indigenous communities miles away that we want them to not chop down the trees we're kind of relying on, right? And so we kind of hope that that's another way that people can sort of feel good about what they're doing, and rather than kind of taking a concept of loyalty for yourself to get a discount to buy more stuff, because actually you might not need more stuff, but actually trying to think, okay, well, there's a kind of a little way you can give back without having to, necessarily kind of take a huge effort out of your day. But I think, it's like what you said, really. It's how can we kind of label things a little bit differently? And that's where we've got these kind of eco badges. So you can kind of go, well, actually, all right, I've bought everything organic. Probably that's all right then. I've kind of done something good in that part of my life,
So it's almost like picking the things that are important to you and then thinking, right, okay, I'm going to focus on making these small changes. It doesn't matter if my neighbour is making other ones. I guess together, as long as we're all sort of adapting our lives to the changes that we can manage, then that's sort of
for
doing
me, it's
something.
not about being perfect and being like, oh yeah, I'm so green, I'm this and I'm that, and that's not what this is about. And when we were doing it, I didn't want it to be like, oh gosh, you can't touch that because I'm not part of it. I want everybody to feel comfortable that they can, even if you, like you say, it's just nappies or it's just wipes or it's just, or I want to just get a new top, because it's just we're trying to do everything. So and we're trying to bring the brands together, so you haven't got to go searching for them. We've done that, and they're all together. So obviously, it will be forever growing.
You mentioned clothes, and you mentioned fashion, and how important is it for us to know where our clothes come from? And is it ever okay to buy fast fashion, for example?
Well, I think, again, this is kind of one of those questions of it, it kind of depends what else you're doing. I think if you're buying fast fashion all the time, and not making any other changes, and we all did that all the time, then, clearly that would be a problem, right? But certainly, again, like we said, we all know that sometimes you've got to do something for convenience, and maybe just that fits in, that's okay. And I think there's a place for everything, in kind of moderation, right? That's definitely okay. But we're also trying to say, actually, like, there's a campaign at the moment for Secondhand September, and we'd like to think one day on our website you could buy new fashion alongside, like, recycled or upcycled or pre-loved fashion. Why not, right? Like, why not have all those choices together? And again, you can sort of balance things out, I think, if you're informed about what you're doing. And I think that's the key for me, is like knowing, being conscious of what you're doing, and going, okay, well, I'm not going to buy everything fast fashion, but I'm going to try do other things as well.
And I guess hang on to the clothes as well. So if you buy fast fashion, but if you're hanging on to the clothes, you're not chucking them out straight away. I was at Goodwood Revival working down there over the weekend, and it was just incredible to see, the fashion from the 40s, 50s and 60s, how the quality of the clothes was completely different. And it just like lasted. I was in vintage clothes the whole weekend. I was chatting to Bay Garnett, who basically discovered like thrift shopping. She was just like, we need to be buying clothes from secondhand shops. We have to be going through them and finding those amazing bits of tweed, the pre-loved clothes. And we need to be, our clothes that our mum was wearing, we need to rework them and add bits to them and create new. And I was like, if I had the time to do that, it'd be amazing. But I'm also like, it's hard to do it all, isn't it? But I love the idea of it. Do love the idea of it.
Well, we found loads of that actually when because like we said, we sort of started looking and saying, well, are there enough like sustainable brands and products out there to actually, for this business to actually work?
Yeah.
And that was the cool thing. once we started looking, there's so many, there's like loads everywhere. You just have to look. And that's why, again, we kind of wanted to bring them together. But like vintage, there's so many amazing places. You know, if it's not available in your town, there's like online vintage, and we're trying to bring some of that into our website as well, so that you can have all of those choices kind of right there, because, you know, why not? Like you say, that, you know, that's kind of built to last, right?
When it comes to baby clothes, it's not like you can keep those baby clothes for the same child for very long, because, like, you know, they're 0 to 3 months or they're 3 to 6 months. But I guess it is about passing them on. I am actually quite good at passing stuff on to my friends and, you know, things like that. I probably still buy way too much, but I definitely don't chuck it out.
I never gave me Axel's clothes for Kit. You said, I'm going to get them from the loft. I'm going to go and get them. And I was like, George, can I have those clothes now, please?
They're probably the same size now, aren't they?
Well, Chloe and I have done it with school uniform.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. My son's riding, you know, he's riding a bike, you know, age 8, that my eldest son, I bought that for him 8 years ago, I think. So it's like,
that's cool.
It's pretty cool. It's the same bike, you know, works perfectly, and he's super happy, right? So
I think that one of the things that people worry about the most, Chloe, is that it's going to cost them more money. So just break that down for us. Does it cost more money to shop sustainably on your website?
I found that myself, you know, obviously when we're looking for it, I think it does cost a little bit more, but we're not asking you to change everything. Yeah. So we're also, I'm not perfect. So I think if you just do the small changes, like we're saying, and spend a little bit more money on maybe those things, you're making a change yourself in your life. Lise, do you think it is a bit more expensive?
I think it depends. Like, you might spend a bit more on a top, right? But you know where it's come from, or you know it's made in England or in the UK, and it might last a lot longer. So it might be something you can pass on for many, you know, for much longer. But I actually think with things like nappies and wipes, you know, if you're going reusable and you can get your head around that, even if you're going reusable 50% of the time, maybe not when you're going out, but when you're at home or at night, actually you can save money by doing that. Because I found it just with face wipes, because I was a real terrible person for face wipes, and I was buying like the eco face wipes, but obviously, a bit like you were saying, it's like eco nappies. Like, can they ever really be eco? Probably not. Yeah. But now I buy the reusable ones. I've never had to buy any more face wipes. So within like 3 weeks, I paid myself back for buying the reusable ones, and I never have to buy, throw away face wipes ever again. So I think there are some things that actually might take a little bit of practice, but then you can actually start saving money. And hopefully, we hope that other things, well, it might cost a tiny bit more, but it might last like a lot longer.
Even like kitchen roll, you know. Kitchen roll. I just do it, and then you're using it all the time. Yeah. But I've just found out there's so many things that I didn't know about, like reusable kitchen roll, or I've
Did you put it in the washing machine,
much.
Chloe?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But there's so many things that I didn't know about, and it's opened my eyes up to be like, wow, okay. So I don't need to be going and buying, 20 loads of rolls. I can actually just buy one. Maybe it's a little bit more expensive to start, but long term, it won't be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I use the muslin, like the kids' muslin, the muslins. I just cut them up into 4s, and I use those to wash my face now. And so I've still got like packs and packs and packs of them from when Gigi was little. And when they get complete, like they're threadbare, then I do chuck them away. But they last me months and months. So it is amazing.
George got me into that.
Work really well, and you can use them for like cleaning your windows and stuff.
Because you've got massive ones. There's massive ones.
Yeah, exactly. But one thing I really couldn't get to grips with was the nappies, the reusable nappies. Have you got any tips or really good brands? Because from what I hear from friends who use them, there is a big difference between the good ones and the bad ones. And I guess it's expensive to make that mistake of buying loads and loads of bad ones. So, what are the tips? What are we looking for?
You want ones with a liner, like normally you have some that have a liner in them, so you can wash that separately. It's kind of a bit more protective. And I think the trick as well is having the little overpants that kind of keep them on. And I think as the babies get
keep them bigger, tight and secure.
Yeah, they keep them tight and on. That's what I've learned anyway. Is like have the little pants that kind of go over the nappy and actually keeps them all kind of tucked in quite nicely, which can be bought separately maybe to the nappy. I found them I found them quite cute, because when I had 3 boys and then I had a girl, and you could have actually quite cute little pants and things, which you didn't really have with the throwaway nappy. So I quite liked it. But I mean, yeah, there is a bit more washing, but then there's a lot less waste. So, you know, and I think
does it hold those nighttime wees though? That's what I'm thinking about. You know, those 12 hours.
They normally do a nighttime version and a daytime version, so you can have one that it's the same with you have when you look into like period pants and stuff. There's like nighttime.
Yeah, because there's so much about that as well. Honestly,
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I feel like we all need to try and do a little bit more. I know it's I do. Like, I only found out the other day about cling film. I was like, why have I still got cling film in the house? Why am I cling filming something and putting it in the fridge? Why don't I just put a plate on it? So I don't have cling film in the house now. I'm just not buying it anymore.
But if you think about it, like, all the stuff you throw away, if you think every time you pull out the cling film or the tin foil or the kitchen roll or the baby wipes, if you think that's money, you're just like pulling out money and sticking it in the bin, right? And when you think about it that way, which is the way I've kind of thought about the environment for long, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why are we doing that? Why are we we're paying for a plastic bottle that we just chuck away, or maybe we recycle it, where we could just not have to have the cost of that, and we just refill it, right? So I think sometimes if we start to think about things a little differently, and you kind of see actually that's 2p, 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 or 3p, or a pound every time. It's like actually kind of, well, when you think about it that way, maybe I can afford to invest in the nappies or the reusable wipes or the whatever I'm trying to do, because actually you kind of will save money over time. But it's, but like you said, it might not work for everyone. Not everyone can do reusable nappies because they're too busy, but maybe they can do something else, right? Maybe they could change.
And like you said before, I think there are people doing sort of half and half. So they might be buying like the eco disposable nappies for, 5 days a week when they're working, but at the weekends they use the reusable ones or whatever they do. But yeah, I mean, lots of people do get on with them, don't they? So I guess it's a personal choice.
I'd love to see one being used. Like, have a little, George, because mine aren't in nappies anymore. Can you just? I think George needs to do a little.
Yeah, babe, it's obviously Instagram.
It's not very Instagrammable, is it? But a little demo for us.
Poor Gigi.
Bless her. Yeah. Bless her. Ladies, why should people shop with you? Why should they head there? Just give us a one-liner.
So we say shop smart, shop clean, shop always forever green. That's our little strap line.
I love
that. Guys, good luck with it all. Where can they find it?
So it's alwaysforevergreen.com.
Alwaysforevergreen.com. Thank you so much for coming on. So lovely to chat to you.
Thank you. Bye.
She's just wonderful, isn't she?
Yeah,
I loved her
really
the last
is.
time. I love her even more now. And I really love how passionate she is about this. And her new business sounds like it's absolutely flying.
Yeah, do you know what? It's so nice to have guests back on again talking about something, something else. She's spoken about her birth, and it's like she's moved into kind of a new era in her parenting because now she's got another baby, her business, and she's focusing on that. And I just really loved it.
Yeah, I really love her as a person as well. And I think what it's doing to me, the more that I hear, topics being spoken around sustainability and the conversations that are happening, I just really feel like I've got to do more. I mean, we had an electric car a couple of weeks ago and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I think I was doing the school run. I was just driving around in this electric car, just thinking like, I'm doing my bit now. And the only thing that stuffed us up was the fact that we didn't have one of the chargers at home, the proper chargers. I think they're about £1,000. Like, if you're going to invest in it, you've got to invest in it. About £1,000. That would have made it so much easier. But we were having to find the charging points around where we live and trying to plug it into the mains overnight, and it was taking 24 hours and it didn't get. So like, I think if you're going to do it, you've got to go for it and really go for it. But
absolutely,
I loved it. I'm definitely converted. I just need to get the back office sorted.
Whenever I see someone driving an electric car, I always give them like a really weird smile. So sorry, anyone who lives in Brentwood that drives an electric car, if I'm looking at you really funny, it's just because I think you're really cool. That's all it is. I'm like, oh, you're cool.
You're cool. You're saving the planet.
I want to be as cool as you one day.
So, as always, we would love you to rate, review, subscribe and follow the podcast. Thank you for engaging and thank you for leaving your lovely reviews as well. They're so nice to read.
Yeah, absolutely love it. If we're ever in need of a little confidence boost, that's what we do. We head over if we need a bit of cheering up. And please, our DMs are always open. Drop us a message if you have any suggestions for the podcast, any feedback, or you just want to chat. We're on @MadeByMummers, or Zoe's on her own channel @Zoe Hardman, and we will be back on Friday.
See you then.
Made by Mummers is an Insanity podcast production.
Insanity Group.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a new season we recommend.
Hey, happy listener. I'm Yardley.
And I'm Dan. And I'm Dave.
And we are the hosts of the true crime podcast, Small Town Dicks.
On our podcast, detectives from small towns all around the world give us their firsthand accounts of the memorable crimes they investigated in their small town. The new season of Small Town Dicks launches on September 17th. Meanwhile, if you're new to the podcast, we have over 118 episodes for you to binge until the new season starts.
So please join us on September 17th for an original take on true crime. Small Town Dicks, available wherever you like to listen.
Acast recommends.